So I haven't made a vlog in a while, so I thought I would do a vlog about how I'm doing with the phage therapy. Today we are on our way to Rotterdam again, to the Erasmus Medical Center, where they are studying and following my phage treatment and how it has an effect on my body, my HS and my intestines. And it has been a turbulent time actually. I'm truly fascinated about what the phages are doing because my illness is way different than it was before, than it ever was. So first of all, I've been having flare-free days, and I haven't had those in years. So most of the time it's 1, 2, 3, sometimes 4 days without any active flares. For me that's a pretty long time. I have had flare-free hours, but never flare-free days, so that's pretty interesting. But I do get new flare-ups, but most of them are really weird. They come up, and they look like inflammation already on the return. So like they're already opened, they just pop up. They don't hurt. Some of them open, they don't drain a lot, but there's hardly any pain whatsoever. It doesn't get any higher than a 2 or 3 pain score, which for me it's really low because normally my pain score is 7 to 8 when I have active flares. So it's a really weird way. You see it's an inflammation because the spot is red, but it's not really bright red and inflamed. It's not hot to the touch. Normally the flares are hot to the touch. It's not hot to the touch at all. And yeah, again, it's really weird. And what I've been doing, as soon as I have a flare, I use a phage soak. So then I have a bandage and I put phages on it. And in my little next clip, I can show you how I make a phage soak. I wanted to show you guys how I make my phage soak band-aid. So what I have this plaster, which is paper plaster. I have that on the outside. Then I have a foam plaster, which is actually a silicone foam band-aid. And on top of that I have the cotton compress, or cotton gauze. That's because it soaks better in this than in my foam bandage. And because I put this on, I need a paper plaster to secure it, and it will stay secure on my spot. I've been soaking my armpit for a few days now, and I'm using intestiphages for that, because the intestiphages are a phage that has been tested to be very sensitive to the bacteria that are found with me. So this is what I am using. So I open up the bottle. Then I take the band-aid. I don't know if you guys can see. And I put it upside down, and then gently I move it around over the band-aid, and the bottle gets emptied. And then I have, as you see, the amber color intestiphage, and then I tape that through the spots that are inflamed or hurtful, and these bring down the inflammations in days, and they soak out the pain, which works really well, and they soak out the inflammation. And yeah, for me it works extremely well. Most don't even come to a head, most don't even open if I use it. If I even have a minor flare-up, I use a soak like this. And this I leave overnight, but you can also soak for like half an hour or an hour, and then put other creams that you use on there. So this is how you make a face soak bandage. So sometimes I do get flares that hurt. Most of them hurt a little. Again, a pain score of 3 is the max I get. But about a week ago I had a little bump under my arm, and I was stupid enough to squeeze it. So normally with HS you should leave all your spots and your blackheads and things, you should leave them alone, because well, friction is one of my triggers as well. So as soon as there's friction, the chance for a flare-up is pretty high. So as soon as you pinch something or squeeze something, then there's friction. So for me, it was idiotic to think that I could do that. So I squeezed it, and then within hours it became red, and within a day it was, well, purplish red, really inflamed, hot to the touch, extremely painful. And within 2 days I was back at a pain level of 7, just due to this one flare-up under my left arm. So at first I was at loss, and I was really like beating myself up, didn't know what to do, because I'm part of the study, I can't do any other things that I normally do. So I thought I'd make a big phage soak. I put a full bottle of, the first day I put a full bottle of staphylococcal phages on the band-aid and soaked that in, and it didn't work. So I decided to do the intestiphages the next day. So I made a bandage soaked full with intestiphages. I put it on there and had it soak overnight. And what happened was absolutely amazing to me. The next day I even woke up on that side, which I couldn't lay on because the pain was really at a 7 again. The pain was almost fully gone. The redness really declined a lot. It was not hot to the touch anymore, and it already looked like the spot was like, yeah, getting smaller. It was still thick. It was still like the skin was still raised, but it was almost like it was already going down. So in the next 3 days it was getting smaller and smaller and smaller, up to the point that I thought, okay, it's almost gone. But then it opened just a little, and it drained a few drops, and then it became smaller and smaller and smaller again. And I kept on using the phage soaks twice a day. So then after a while I thought, okay, it's almost gone. So I decided to stop the phage soaks, because I need to use a full bottle every time, because you can't use half a bottle and then save it in your fridge, because then it's not good to use anymore. So I was like, okay, to save the phages, it looks better now, I just continue, just maybe some phage creams or something. So then I got a new bump next to it. I was like, okay, maybe I quit the phage soaks too early, because the new bump next to it already started to hurt. It was a level of 3 already again. So I decided to soak again, and again the same thing happened again. Within a night of intestiphage soaks, the bump like almost disappeared, the pain almost went away, and there's still a little bit of raised skin underneath, but it's not inflamed anymore. It's not hot to the touch anymore. The pain declined again to a 1, and the same thing happens. So I had this happen in a few spots already, that as soon as it looks inflamed, I use a phage soak on it, and then they decline within a night. The pain is gone within a night, and it's really fascinating to see how fast these phages work and how they work. They first take away the inflammation part, so the rest can heal up. They take away the pain, and it's super fascinating. So another thing that has been happening is that I have sent some tests to an American phage scientist. His name is Benjamin Chen. He works for the Yale University, and he works with phages and sometimes also treats patients with FDA approval. And I've been talking to him for a while, even before I went to the Eliava, and asking him about phages and what his opinion was on phage use with HS. And he told me that if the titer, which is like the concentration of phages in the application, would be higher, then maybe the results would be even better, especially when you use the phages on your skin. So he said, you can send me some swabs of your skin and maybe lesions, and I will check them out in my lab to see if I can isolate some bacteria and see if I have some phages for them. So he isolated a few bacteria, and I thought the results were pretty interesting. So I sent him a swab of my groin area, and he found Pseudomonas and Proteus in there. And this is common. These are two bacteria that the Eliava and my own dermatologist found over and over again. So for me this was not new, and it was also a reassurance that I'm still using the correct phages from the Eliava. I also took a swab under my armpit because I never did that before, and I had a little like pimple like that just opened. I thought, okay, I just swabbed that to see what is going on there. And it was not really a lesion, it was more a pimple. So that came back with Staphylococcus aureus, which is pretty interesting because this is the bacteria most common with HS patients, but was never found with me before. So that was a pretty interesting result. He's still checking if he has phages for it, and if he does, then he might be able to make some creams or at least phages that I can use topically. So that would be pretty interesting. But that's a story that's still continuing. Other than that, we had a lot of team meetings. So I'm in a team with a lot of HS patients and HS advocates, and we are working on getting HS trials, mostly Belgium or America, with phages. And we have been emailing a lot with different kinds of companies who produce phages, who do research on phages, collecting a lot of information. And we are currently working on a website. And this is going to be a website for phage applications in general, for phage scientists, phage doctors, and patients who use phage therapy. Just one point where everything is found together. So all the studies can be published there, diaries of people who use phages, stories about phage scientists, phage doctors. So just one spot where you can find everything there is about phage therapy. That is accessible for as well doctors and scientists as patients and people who are interested in phages as journalists. So just one point that is accessible for everybody. It will have scientific stories, but it will also have conclusions, like in normal terms that even people who are not scientists or doctors do understand. So it will have something for everybody who is interested in phage therapy in one way or the other. So that's pretty interesting. So a lot has been going on. We made a lot of progress already, and we are trying to get phage trials and phage application on the map for HS patients, because we believe that this can be really a thing that can help more HS patients. We started a Facebook group as well, so if you want to get in there, it's called Hidradenitis Suppurativa Phage Therapy Resources, and that's on Facebook. And here we share our stories. And there are also phage scientists in there as well, sharing publications and their view on phage therapy with HS. So it's also a pretty interesting thing. So a lot of things are going on. I will try to vlog a little bit more often because I've been really busy with all different kinds of stuff. But we are working on it. So I see you guys in my next vlog, and now I'm going to the EMC, so maybe I'll make a vlog about that too. But we have to wait and see. So I wish you all a lovely day. Thanks for watching all my videos, and see you guys soon. Bye guys!